Okay, so let's take a look at this. So what you're going to want to do here to start with is isolate the squared quantity, which in this case is the x plus 2. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start by dividing both sides by 2. And so then now we'll have x plus 2 squared is equal to, and then half of 36 is 18. And then from here, we'll square root both sides, and we have to put the plus minus right there. And so then we end up with x plus 2 equals positive and negative square root of 18. Now what we're going to do is we're going to break 18 up into the square root of 9 times the square root of 2. Okay. And, oops, got my color. All right, so then we can go ahead and evaluate the square root of 9. So we're going to have x plus 2 equals plus or minus 3 square roots of 2. And then we're going to go ahead and subtract 2 from both sides, and I like to wedge it right in front. So we're going to be left with x equals negative 2 plus or minus 3 square root of 2. And that's a great answer. Sometimes when you're putting your answer in, they actually have you break it up to where you have to look at it with the plus, and also you have to look at it with the minus. So that might be something you'll have to look out for. Sometimes you just have to look in your toolbar for that plus or minus symbol, but just make sure that we understand that we're really getting two answers. Either one of these would actually work if you were to plug it back in for x. Okay, then let's see. I got this other question here. There we go. Now, yeah, this one's pretty challenging because of the 7 right there. And so the first thing we would do is we would add the 5 to both sides to move it out of the way. So we're going to have x squared plus 7x, and then I like to put plus blank equals, and then we have 5, and then I'm going to put plus blank right there. So this is where it gets challenging, but it's good to practice this algebra. What we're going to do here is you're going to take half of 7 and square it. So I'm going to show my work over here. I'm going to take half of 7, and then we have to square that. And so you square both of those individually. So, oops, that's weird. So that's going to be 49 over 4. So that's what we have to add to both sides. And yeah, it's going to get a little messy, but it really shouldn't be too bad, especially if you follow the pattern from the other ones, because you might be kind of a little concerned about, well, how am I going to factor the left side? Well, what happens is it always factors into x. Well, I don't want to say always, but all the examples we're looking at, it's going to factor into x, and then if it's plus, which we have a plus here, so I'll take a plus from here, and then you take half of your b value right here, and that will go right here. So half of that would be 7 over 2 and then squared. And so that is that trinomial factored right there. And if you look at the pattern, that's the pattern on all the previous examples. And so it's going to hold in this situation. Now, on the left side, we are going to have to get a common denominator. So I'm going to multiply the top and bottom right there of my 5 over 1 by 4. So that'll become 20 over 4. And then I have plus 49 over 4. So I need to get a common denominator so I can bring that together. And so let's see. So we have x plus 7 over 2 squared equals, and then let's see, that'll add up to 69 over 4. Okay. And so now we'll go ahead and square root both sides. So now it's just like the previous problem that we worked, but obviously a little bit more challenging with the fractions. So I'll come write this up over here. So we'll end up with x plus 7 over 2 is equal to plus or minus. Square root of 69, we're not really going to be able to do anything with that. So you could break it up into 3 and 23, but that's not really going to get you anywhere as far as simplifying it. Now the bottom, you can square root 4, that becomes a 2. And so this is actually going to work out kind of nice because I'll have a common denominator when I subtract 7 over 2 from both sides. So that will cancel out, and so I'm left with x equals negative 7 over 2 plus or minus the square root of 69 over 2. And you could leave it like that. That answer is fine. The computer shouldn't really give you any issues. You could also bring it together as negative 7 plus or minus the square root of 69 over 2. I don't think it's that picky about it. I think you would be fine with either way you list your answer. So yeah, this one got a little bit challenging, a little bit more challenging than the others, but you'll notice in the next section we actually have another way of solving these that make life a little bit easier. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email.